And now we're doing a all-time favorite breakfast option for me, which is actually scrambled eggs. Whenever I was taught how to do scrambled eggs, it was actually dry eggs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for scrambled eggs, traditionally, you want to have a little bit of a wetness to them, but the eggs are actually still cooked. For a scrambled eggs for one person, we're going to incorporate 3 whole eggs, a little bit of butter, olive oil, and salt, and that is it. And the key to scrambled eggs is not on a high heat. You want a medium-low heat to start with and continue to start with, just with a little extra stirring and some time. So what I'm going to do now is just crack 3 eggs into the bowl. And then I'll be using a whisk to whisk them. And you do not need to add the salt. Some people say, well, why don't we add salt right to it? You need to add the salt right at the end. And so from here, just going to whisk. And you want to make sure it's fully incorporated. Alright, and how do you know when it's fully incorporated? You don't have any slop coming down. You won't have like a string. Whenever it's fully incorporated, it'll go very, very quickly. What I'm going to use now is just a small casserole dish. I'm going to be using a half of a pat of butter. I'm going to put the butter, go ahead in, and then also extra virgin olive oil. Just a little bit right on top. And the reason that I'm using both of them is that during the cooking process, I don't want the butter to brown. And because when the butter browns, it doesn't give a great taste to eggs, because eggs are very, very delicate flavored. And so what I'm going to do now is just melt this right into a little saucepan. Just use a spatula. And all we're going to be doing is doing figure eights. Because again, if you swirl, what can happen is that it'll go onto the side of the dish and has a potential to burn. That's all it is. I'm not trying to heat. Yeah, seriously slow. Alright, and what I'm doing now is just swirling it around, and again, it's going to take a little bit of time, maybe about 2 to 3 minutes to fully cook the eggs, because again, you don't want to go fast with scrambled eggs. Now the big thing with not going fast is that residual heat of scrambled eggs. Even though you have finished, say, cooking and you put it on a plate, guess what? It's going to continue to cook after that. And so now I'm going to show you this. You can see that the eggs are starting to scramble. And how can you see this? It's because when I lift up, you see them curdling ever so slightly. And it's becoming more of an egg soup now. And that is what you want. You want to start with liquid eggs, go into an egg soup, and then we'll scramble. And you might say, well, Burton, what if I make my eggs very, very dry, but not on purpose? Well, what you need to do then is crack another egg, whisk it, and you can put it into that batch of eggs that are dry. All right, now our eggs are getting very, very thick. It's becoming more and more thick as we go. And again, I can't stress enough residual heat for scrambled eggs. Now as you can tell here with the look and the eggs, they look tempered, and this is, when I say tempered, that means that the eggs essentially are used for desserts, but the eggs are in fact cooked, and the eggs here are not dry at all. And this is what you're looking for. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to mix that in. And the reason that I didn't put salt in the beginning is because we already had the butter, we already had the extra virgin olive oil, and then we had the eggs, and now we have the salt at the end. So again, we're doing depths of flavor. If you want to cook really, really well, you got to cook with depths of flavor. Don't put everything in one pot. And there you have it, some scrambled eggs. You can tell that it's all one because you can shake it just a little bit and it holds its shape. But as you can also tell, it is a little bit liquidy in the aspect because you don't want it hard. So that is one of my favorite breakfast items, and that's scrambled eggs.